what's up, everybody? Welcome to Simply Cyber Firesides. I'm your host, as usual. I almost said as Auger. As always, Gerald Auger. And today I'm excited. I swear to God, I know my name. And today I'm excited to welcome to Simply Cyber Firesides a guest, a friend, a member of the community, Team SC, Josh Mason. He's a cybersecurity leader dedicated to making cyber a true business enabler and enabling others to experience cybersecurity careers. Now, Josh brings a very unique combination of military leadership and technical expertise to our industry. He's a graduate of the United States Air Force Academy, no big deal. Holds an MBA also in aviation from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. And currently, Josh serves as a federal solutions architect at SYNAC, kind of like a cybersecurity sales role, which is what we'll be speaking about quite a bit today, helping you understand what the role of cybersecurity sales is and how you can realize that role. If you get all hot and bothered when we're talking about it, you're like, that's for me, I want some of that. Josh is going to explain exactly how you can get that. He's also co-host, along with Wade Wells, of Simply Defensive, our defensive cybersecurity podcast here at Simply Cyber Media Group. I'm very proud of that and all the work that Josh and Wade do. He's also adjunct professor at Anne Arundel Community College and founder of Mason SC, which provides cybersecurity strategy and training services, which also got acquired. No big deal. Now, what truly sets Josh apart is his commitment to lifting others up in the cybersecurity community, which all of you know is very near and dear to my heart. That is a core value here at Simply Cyber. From his viral 30-day job challenge hashtag, challenge on social media, where he personally mentors job seekers until they land roles, to his extensive free content recommendations and his very active mentoring in Discord, he really does embody the collaborative spirit that makes our industry stronger and exhibits all the things that Simply Cyber is trying to promote and makes great. Now, he has consulted for Fortune 50 companies and military leaders worldwide, and he has a trusted voice with over 44,000 LinkedIn followers, so he does have reach. So when he speaks, he is very deliberate with a focus on trying to help people. Now, you may not know this because this is brand new, but he's also the author of Speak Security with a Business Accent, a #1 new release on Amazon. Seriously, I like, not that I don't believe Josh, but I actually had to look this up. Look at this thing right here. This is not a joke. It's friggin' #1 right now under communication and management on Amazon right now. Okay, so this dude's just crushing it like a friggin' boss. All right, and he teaches security professionals how to translate technical concepts into business language and influence real organizational change. So GRC Mafia, you may want to give a sniff of this one because it's definitely valuable. His colleagues describe him as a driven self-starter, a model of what experienced people should do to assist others, and he's definitely inspiring to me. Today, we're going to explore Josh's insights on building cybersecurity careers, specifically in the sales function, and making security a business enabler. And we're going to talk about his unique approach to community building with a focus on DEF CON 33's official new village that got accepted this year that Josh is going to be running. And he's got a ton of people from the community who are going to be helping him deliver an amazing village experience, deliberately designed to help people who are new to industry and or new to DEF CON. So do me a favor, Team SC, put your Oprah emotes, slam them down in chat, and if you're not a squad member, just put your hands together and get ready for a good time. Please welcome Josh Mason to Simply Cyber Fireside. What's up, my friend Josh Mason? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, Jerry. I need to take you to like all my talks, and you just start with that.
I mean, was anything I said not true?
I mean, no. Yeah.
I will be your hype man. So how you been, Josh? I mean, you've been a busy bee, writing books, putting together conferences and everything. What's going on with Josh right now?
Yeah. Getting a lot done. Just diving into the ADHD, autism funnel and chasing the dopamine in good ways.
That is true. I wasn't going to talk about this, but you have been very open with your neurodivergence and your clinical condition and working through several things, being incredibly successful with that. Just really quick, I mean, do you treat neurodivergence as a superpower, or how have you? For those who are in chat, because I do feel like neurodivergence is one of those things that people are kind of shy about. I mean, mental health really has turned into a very open conversation. But what would you? I mean, what's your? How do you weaponize neurodivergence to be so successful?
Yeah. There's not. I'm going to steal other people's language here on this one. One of the things that makes like autism and ADHD a disability is having a diverse neurotype in a world that's built for people who are holistic, not autistic. And so the difficult thing is trying to like live in that sort of world on its own. I don't know. My brain works differently. I'm able to, channel that energy into things. But if you want me to sit down and like focus on one thing, like, I don't know, I made my way through school and a master's and figured stuff out, but it was a challenge. And for some people, it's even more of a challenge. So I don't know. I've been fortunate that I've been able to make it work for me.
Well, there you go. I mean, it's resonating with a lot of people. Luke Canfield, Augusta Delgado, and others in chat. I'm actually just checking my audio levels right now. I'm actually going to goose you down just a little bit, Josh. I think it's on my end. So, Chad, I know Phil Stafford was complaining. I just bumped him down 10%. So we'll see how that goes. Well, let's turn our attention, Josh, to sales, because you are a cybersecurity salesperson. Your title's officially, federal solutions architect or whatever it is. But talk to me and tell the Simply Cyber community, what is a cybersecurity sales job? Does it qualify as cyber? Is it one, I've heard it pays really good. Like, give us the breakdown of cybersecurity sales and why you'd want to do it versus why you wouldn't want to do it. High level. What is it? Pros, cons. Go.
Yeah. So on a sales team, there tends to be the people who are your traditional sales. They are great at talking to people and getting a conversation going, making sure to be able to do the follow-up, and they like the project management side of the sale. Like we start with an opportunity, it's got to go in Salesforce, follow it through, send out the paperwork. One of the fun things for me and what got me into being a sales engineer slash solutions architect, whatever the company calls it, was actually Jeff Gold, who does Old Guy Wednesdays with Neil Bridges. He used to be a sales dude for Carbon Black and worked with a solutions architect or a sales engineer. Back when I was still teaching at INE, I connected with Jeff, talked to his sales engineer, and realized basically it's like teaching, but rather than having a class where you're teaching a specific skill, instead you're demoing that thing over and over and over again, discussing whether it fits or can help out this organization. So you end up as both a consultant and a teacher. And yeah, it does pay pretty well.
Well, there you go.
You also, yeah.
So what technical depth do you actually need?
Oh, quite a bit. So at Synac right now, what we sell is our pen test as a service platform, and don't want to do a whole sales thing on that. But my side of it is discussing, okay, what are you all doing for your pen testing currently? What does your vulnerability management look like? Where are your pain points? And those are things that we could teach to the other salespeople, but frankly, some of them just like have lots and lots of experience doing sales in a lot of different companies. Whereas I've worked with Ryan at Nuvik, right alongside pen testers. I taught EJPT. I learned a lot in the Air Force when I was doing that. And so the mindset of what does that program look like is really close to me. And so being able to have that discussion, say, okay, this fits, we would be able to do these things based off of your assets. We would look at this sort of testing, and because of that, we we could see savings in these ways, or this makes sense or this doesn't fit because you guys aren't doing these things.
I mean, so you're
Yeah,
almost more of a partner for the client than you are trying to like push as much product as possible.
exactly. Exactly. Ideally, a good solutions architect or sales engineer is going to be a consultant, but you're kind of tied to one product. Um, Ideally, your sales development and business development folks and marketing are going to bring you into a deal where someone is looking for what you sell. For example, if you're a Cisco person, if someone brings in a call and they're not looking for what Meraki's or something that Cisco sells, then they're going to be like, "What are we doing here?" So yeah, things tend to be in the same scope of what your business is, but you have the ability to help make sense of it. A lot of the things that we use and that people sell in cybersecurity are kind of obscure. Like, what's the difference between XDR and SOAR? Or, and like, how does it tie into your next gen firewall and your zero trust solution? And if you've been a CISO, if you've had to investigate these different technologies, then you know what's going on. For a lot of people, it can seem like a lot of just jargon. So when you want to get into that call and be like, okay, how does this work? Show me what my day would look like with this solution. That's where you need someone who, like, I would not do well selling a SIM because I've never been an analyst.
Mm-hmm.
I've looked at it and I could probably do a Splunk or an Elk demo, but it's not going to be the same. You're going to start asking questions and I'm going to be like, I wish Wade was here, but also Wade wishes he wasn't there. He doesn't want to do sales. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's discussions that fit or don't fit. And so if someone's going to talk about pen tests, I've got that experience. The joy is, like, theoretically, I could jump into a pen test. It would be messy. I wouldn't really enjoy it. And I might not actually find anything because I'm kind of not a very good pen tester.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because those who can't do teach, right? And
Well,
those who get tired of teaching sell.
I'm adjunct faculty. I don't want that moniker wrapped around my neck like an albatross. All right, so dude, a lot of technical people listening here, people who are in IT trying to move into cyber, people who are trying to pivot from retail or whatever into cyber. I myself felt this way. When I think sales, and I do sales now, but it's because I own a business. But when I think sales, I think it's about being pushy or manipulative. I literally loathe going to car dealerships. I typically buy my cars brand new, not because I'm like flexing, but because I want to extend the period of time before I have to talk to an auto salesperson again. You know what I mean? So I try to go in like 15-year blocks. Anyways, how would you describe like cyber sales actually like day to day, and what kind of misconceptions in that pushy manipulative persona that kind of gets thrown around?
I've been to a lot of conferences. I've met a lot of salespeople. I've got a lot of friends who are in sales now. Just the nature of being around, going to conferences, meeting folks. But there is a lot of snake oil, and there's a lot of snake oil salespeople. A lot of tools where you're like, what does this actually do, and why would I need it if I'm already doing X, Y, and Z? And that part can be hard. Trying to sell something that people don't want, even if you think it's the coolest thing ever, very, very difficult.
Well, I mean, do you get pushed? I mean, you don't have to talk about your current job because, your current job may not want you to answer this, but from what you've seen from other people who have your role in the industry, I mean, do you get almost, the thing is that you want to be a consultant, you want to be a partner. You don't want to sell something to someone who doesn't need it. But at the same time, if you're commission based, if you have to meet numbers for quarterly sales and stuff like that, I mean, how do you balance that?
Yeah. 25% of my salary is commission based.
Is that pretty normal? Like in industry, is that like a normal, or is that
Yeah.
like exceedingly nice because
so like 80/20, where you've only got 20% commission for a sales engineer is like, I think the ideal for a lot of folks, where you're like, okay, I feel safe. No matter what, I'm making money. A lot of the sales execs, sales reps, whatever, the front facing, like close the deal sort of folks, they can be like 40-60, where most of their money is like that 60% is commission. But that 60% could be 60% of like 350K.
Yeah. So Gloria, literally in chat right now, and I'm going to actually I want to make this a little bit interactive. So I'm just going to bring this up and then I'll ask you a question. Then hopefully Gloria comments back. So she says sales is utterly garbage, low pay, which is kind of counter to what you say. So Gloriana, I love your thoughts here. If you could just qualify your statement. Are you talking about cybersecurity sales? Or are you talking about a specific vertical? Are you talking about a specific region, country? Let us know in chat, because I would like to, because to me this is a challenge, and I'd love to have an open discourse. Augusta Delgado wants to know, how do you even get into sales? Like, did you transition from, say, security engineer to sales engineer? You used to be an instructor and content developer. How do you transition into sales there, Josh?
So my transition was really easy, because I reached out to someone I knew and said, hey, I'm interested in, like, you guys have an open sales engineer position. Like, what does that look like? And frankly, because I was doing stuff like this, it was SimSpace right after Neil did the global cyber games that were like featured on SimSpace. I got hands-on in there, worked with some of both the product and the marketing people who were doing that with the stream. So like a week later, when I was like, hey, there's a sales engineer position, people were already interested in me, and it had the discussion, what would that look like? Demos, running things in the, running, exercises through the sim, that sort of thing. I was like, that's kind of my jam. So that one was reaching out. Position I'm at right now.
Sounds like make relationships, and I will tell you from my experience, and Josh, let me know if you agree or disagree. From my experience, here's the thing, and this took me a while to figure out from working in startups, right? You got to remember, like, it's not like you start a business or there's a business and then they have a sales team, a marketing team, a developer team. They have that's not how it works. It's usually like developers, they're making product, they're trying to get it going, MVP or a minimum viable product, all this other stuff. And as soon as they get like a first round of investment, so look for like Series A funding companies, as soon as that happens, they just start throwing and burning money into sales and marketing. And that's when they go gangbusters and they'll start hiring everybody. So it's like, it's to what Josh is saying, like relationships and conversations, but once they turn the water faucet on for salespeople and marketing money, like they'll start firing developers to help fund the sales and marketing, because they need, basically investors want to see their money.
See a return.
Yeah. So this is real. It's not just, I don't know. It's not like a video simulator, like trading card game simulator that I got like Wiccan into for 2 weeks, or like Railroad Tycoon, where you just like, oh, I'm doing all the things of a business at once. It's not that way. It's very pipelined. But yeah, so
too often, that's exactly it. You get to an MVP, you've got a product. Usually, your initial salespeople are your CEO and CTO, the people who like came up with the idea and who are building the product.
Yeah.
Your initial marketing people tend to be, or like the faces tend to be like your lead engineers and your CTO. Once you sell enough to show, hey, this is viable, and you get a investor and you get Series A, probably about 60% of that Series A goes into sales. That's what I've seen in the past. Synac's been around since 2013. They've had sales for a long time. For some people, I've been trying not to look at chat, but I've noticed it. What I do is like huge enterprise type sales. Our product is not a consumer product. Our product's not even like an SMB product. If you're doing one pen test a year and like that's just for your PCI, and you're asking for budget to do it, I can't really get you. I can't help you solve that problem. Now, once you've got multiple web apps, several mobile apps, like there's dev teams doing multiple things at once. Now you've got a lot of things to test and a whole intricate vulnerability management process. That's something where you can start doing stuff. For example, we just launched like 8 tests yesterday for one of our clients, and 2 mobile, 2 web, a couple hosts, an API, and a cloud. And yeah, that's a client who I went down to their headquarters, their Department of Building in DC last week, and talked to their CISO. So they're kind of big. So it's a little different.
There you go. So not only is it's different sales jobs, but also different kind of industries selling to different kinds of clients and stuff like that. Josh, a lot of questions pouring in here. So let's do a little bit of a speed run, if you will.
Yeah.
Brian says, what do you think the future looks like with AI and cybersecurity sales? AI has been impacting a lot of industries. What are your thoughts on AI and cyber sales?
So it helps. It helps a lot. One of the things that we're able to do is make things go faster. Basically, a lot of the we'll have a scoping call, discuss a whole bunch of stuff, keep transcription on, and then after that, because we've got a enterprise tenant for one of the AIs, and we're allowed to do this because it's our tenant, we can take that transcript, run it through there, and be like, okay, what did the scope look like? I've got a few prompts where, okay, out of that, what would be our breakdown of suggested things to look at? Then I can just turn that right around into basically into a scoping doc that shows what we'll be testing, when we'll be testing it, and what the price ends up looking like for that. And it saves me, a day or so of trying to figure out in Excel files and whatnot. And that's just the really easy stuff. The really fun stuff is, especially for me, who's your decider? Doge is interesting.
Not
being
Doge
in Maryland,
Doge government entity.
Yeah,
just to be clear.
Being in Maryland, I've got friends like my neighbor across the street and the guy next door, and some of my kids' friends' parents who work for different agencies and departments, and now have to drive all the way into the city every day, or at least several times a week. They see a lot of churn. What we have seen is there's been a lot of contracting officers, a lot of CISO positions and CIO positions have turned over. People are just oh, I get this fork in the road, early retirement, I'll take it. Which then, who's making decisions? Where's budget going? What are people interested in? One of the things that's been helpful for us is you turn on deep research on the AI and say, okay, who is going into this position? I could try to find all the news all day long, go to the department of whoever website and see if they've got press releases, but using some deep research on kind of any of the AI, do it the same way. You ask it something useful like that, and you can get a list of who just got appointed to different positions at these agencies, and sometimes how to get a hold of them.
Yeah, I could certainly see that. I personally have had contracts literally sitting in signature where I've executed my end of the contract and then the person gets gone, fired, terminated, quits, replaced, whatever. And it's just that's interesting. Let's start this entire process back. An anonymous user on LinkedIn says, what are your qualities you look for in salespeople? Say you're going to hire a couple people, Josh. Give us 30 seconds so we can get to all these questions on what the qualities are you're looking for.
You need to be able to talk to the customer about what their problems are. Now, there's the different takes, the very, very personal type or the technical empathetic type. I don't think about asking people about their kids and what they did over the weekend, but I will sit and ask what they're doing for their next steps, or like when's their next risk assessment, that sort of thing. Either way, even if it's not your ideal, Jerry, you've been with me at conferences where I like had a long day and I was burned out. It was just a lot of peopling. Mm-hmm. That can happen in our work, but if it's one of those things where up front, I'm going to be talking to people. I've had weeks at companies where I did 10 demos in a week, where that's like multiple every single day. Where I'm at right now, because our deals are really, really big and the cycles are really, really long, I've done only a couple demos in like the few months I've been here, mostly to partners, ironically.
Oh, that is nice. I mean, I can totally see, communication's a very valuable resource or skill, no matter what, and the ability to be excited about it and follow up. Sometimes, careful. It's, to me, I don't think anyone's hobby is doing sales, right? But like you always hear people were like, well, be careful if like, oh, if I could brew beer every day, like I'd love it. Or if I could play video games every day, I'd love it, or whatever. And it's like, careful, because, or people who work on the line in restaurants, right? Like you don't get to like create new recipes. Like you're making Salisbury steak 45 times tonight, and guess what you're doing tomorrow night? Salisbury steak. So yeah, I could see where the grind gets in there, and that's definitely something you don't think about until you basically live that life. Gary Sturgiadis, speaking of beers and good people, definitely, just as a quick aside, Gary Sturgiadis looks like you. Like his beard looks like your beard, except like he like rubbed chia pet stuff into it. Like his beard is like raging, but it's very similar to yours. As a product manager, he finds himself with 1 foot in sales, with one of his biggest challenges being pricing. Pricing is so hard. What's the secret sauce, man?
Pricing is hard. Frankly, I haven't had to do it at a company. I did it for projects during my MBA program. So like I know the process, but it's messy and complicated. And it's one of those things that's made me not want to be working that side of product or marketing. It's difficult. You have to look at all the different factors going into it, value to the customer, what the market will charge, and do some like A/B testing.
100%.
I wish I had a quick answer.
Yeah, there is no good answer. I'm going to share a funny story with you. By the way, if you ever get a chance to have a beer with Gary Sturgiadis, it's a bucket list item. Derek Welski with the super chat. Thank you, Derek. Become best friends. Yep. Says he loves the condo, and Josh, you are a gentleman and a scholar. And actually, in 2 minutes, we're actually going to pivot and talk about just how much of a scholar you actually are, sir, and a gentleman. Hey, just to share a quick story about pricing. Pricing's hard. Josh says he hasn't had to do pricing because, for wherever he is. As someone who owns a business, guess what? Guess who gets to do the pricing? This guy right here. Just true story. This is how I've done pricing. You price, and then if someone accepts it, the next time you offer a service like that, you bump it up. You keep doing it until people start saying no, and then you kind of back down, and it's trial and error. But literally earlier on in my business, I literally had a call and talked through some stuff, and the guy's like, or the client was like, okay, tell me, what are you thinking all in for this project? And he wanted the number then, and I'd given it a little thought, but I was like, oh, like this number. And he's like, oh, shit, really? He's like, dude, I thought it was going to be so much more expensive. Let's do it. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, right? So like the whole time I was executing that contract, I was just like working. I felt like I was working for free. I felt so stupid. But those are the bruises you got to take. There's no, maybe AI can help nowadays. I don't know. This was long before AI was like a thing, but definitely cuts and bruises, dude.
I'll admit I've used it for some of my personal consulting of like, oh, what should I charge for this? Like, I feel like it's going to be this many hours, but like, what's the market? I don't know how to do the research on that sort of thing because I don't have all my databases from my like MBA courses.
Definitely use AI. I would absolutely 100% say that as a starting point. And even ask AI to give you a couple common responses to objections, because that's the next thing you're going to have to deal with. You're like, $10,000. And they're like, ooh, I don't know about that. seems a little pricey. Blah! Like, be ready to
Yeah,
drop bombs on that.
you need a reason and an explanation of the value.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, we could do it. We should do like a little workshop on how to do that. All right, how do you deal with upset customers? We all know tech doesn't work the way customers think. By the way, can I just tell you, I'm not going to yell at Josh Mason right now. I'm just yelling at the royal salespeople. But if a salesperson sells another promise that can't be delivered by the product, I'm going to buy the cheapest keyboard on Amazon, and when it gets here, I'm going to throw it. Tell me what's up. How do you deal with upset customers?
This is one that doesn't come naturally to me. And the autism's heavy on this. So I turn to like the books, like explain it to me. I go with the Dale Carnegie principle, like say early, like take the fault. Even if you don't think you're at fault, like take the fault. If someone's upset, they're upset about something. Be like, oh, even if you don't know what it is at first, you just can tell they're upset. Be like, hey, we've messed up here because we haven't treated you in the way that like we should treat our customers based off of how you're feeling. And then if you can get them to explain why, be like, oh, I am so sorry that we did that. Is there a way that we can fix this? Or, if you start with that, like, take the blame. Like, all you got to do is give up pride on that one. That doesn't cost anything. And then if you can follow it up with empathy for like what they're going through and what they're dealing with, then your chances of keeping the customer or even like turning them into like an upsell or whatnot is really high. And that's not, I've both seen that a couple times this week actually, but that's How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie, like chapter 6.
There you go. Recommendation. All right. Last question on cyber sales here. David B wants to know, what's churn like in your line of work? How do you deal with it? You stressed out about possibly losing your job, dude?
No. I've got a really, really good sales rep. I don't know if she's watching. She might be. She might also be like making calls. But it's kind of late for that. No, we're doing good stuff. The fun part is if we don't oversell, and this really comes down to the first part, making sure that you have got a really good product fit. Frankly, having a good product helps. I've sold good products that didn't necessarily deliver, and it's a bummer because I really thought they would. Having a product that actually works goes a long way. And then not everything is perfect. So being able to be like, oh, this won't fit what you've got going on. I'm so sorry. And being able to like be okay with that, hone your ICP a little better.
There you go. And be the CEO of yourself, right? Take accountability. But, if to me, I never worry about churn because, try constantly skill up, constantly network, constantly do all the things. And that'll certainly help. So great question, David B. So let's turn our attention really quickly. Let me see if I can do this. You would be full screen. So let's do this. Josh has just written this book, okay? And I'm actually kind of lucky because I got an early copy. So don't tell anyone. Josh wrote this book, Speak Security with a Business Accent, which has become a #1 new release. And it really does tackle a challenge that many security professionals face, and that's being technically right, but strategically ignored, right? If you've ever pushed your glasses up and you're like, well, actually, and then nobody in the room listens to you, or if you've ever done a risk assessment and then it immediately gets thrown in the trash, that's what Josh's book is talking about. Josh, what was the moment, right? What was the moment, dude, where, moment or experience in your career that made you realize that this communication gap was actually a critical problem?
It was early actually for me. My first my first actual job in cyber was in the Air Force, and I would, after like being trained up in the Air Force to be a leader. The Air Force Academy only builds generals. And that's like the mindset that they give you for 4 years. And then as a pilot, your mindset is to eventually be a squadron commander and lead, all the all of the Air Force. And so ops focus and strategic focus ends up being like where your head's at. I got to the communications squadron, basically the IT and cyber department on a 7,000 person base. And a lot of the things that we were worried about were so low level, but they were so like in the weeds and get escalated up to like the wing commander and stuff where I was like, why let's just handle this. Like just solve this internally. Like we don't need to take this up above us. Like we can fix all of these things. And the response that I got was, oh, Josh, you don't get this. Like you don't understand how this works. I was like, okay, maybe I don't. And frankly, when I was getting out of the Air Force, it was Stefan Semmelroth, our mutual friend, who pulled me back in, was like, you could teach, like, you don't have to worry about all that stuff. And then through meeting people, consulting, being around Simply Cyber and hearing challenges in chat and things that come up in the news, I would just realized alongside How to Win Friends and Influence People, the Phoenix Project, and what I knew about how operations and business works, that the people who take MBA classes and then run the company, they don't care. They don't care what the CVE is or that it's like a 10 and has to be solved. Their answer is going to be, then just fix it. Just do it. If it's something that needs to be escalated to them, then it needs to be turned into terms that they care about. Like, oh, hey, boss, this is going to impact this mission. Like, this means we're not going to make our quarter. It's like, wait, what do you mean? Explain why we're not going to make our quarter. Now you've like said it in their terms.
I love it. So in Josh's book, Josh, you mentioned shifting from being bottlenecks to capability builders within organizations. Share with us a specific example of how you helped a security team make this transformation and what the business impact actually looked like. Give us those tangible realities.
Yeah. I've had a couple. One back in the day as Captain Mason, where I got pulled into a problem that Colonel, I don't know, we'll say Jones had in a flying squadron. And I grabbed my folks, went over there. One of the things that we were concerned about, the commander was like, go over there, figure out what's wrong and like how to fix it. I went over and started with what are you all trying to do and what are you having trouble doing? And my guys were like, why are you asking that? Like, find out what the error code is. I was like, I don't even know if it's an error code. Like this could just be human error. Someone trying to do something, not knowing that they can't do it. And it turned out to be something similar to that. Someone had watched a YouTube video and wanted to, do some admin stuff and fix a thing. And that had locked down a whole segment of the network because they looked really malicious. And so the HBSS, that host-based security system.
Wow. I haven't thought of HBSS in a minute. Wow.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
if that triggers your PTSD. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, a little bit. Keep going. Sorry. Yeah.
But yeah, it was that. And frankly, the solution was easy. It was, okay, let's get them connected back up. And then I've got the folks in Knowledge Ops who can help them set up SharePoint to do what they want to do. And so what they had been messing with for like a week and had like basically DOS themselves because they made it look like they had malicious activity in their segment. We were able to come in, fix that, and solve their problem. And they coined our group, and I gave it to the technician who went with me. So awesome. Yeah. And then I've had a consulting customer who had something very, very similar. A small company, a couple hundred people. They were trying to get like EDR, switch EDR providers, and they knew it was going to be more cost. Actually, they were trying to move to like MDR, and they were coming into it as we're going to spend more money so that we save money. And in the end, because we won't get breached. But they kept starting with, we'll have to like, he was worried. Like if I come to him and say we're going to have to spend more money, then he's going to shut down everything. I was like, don't say that then. Like, if you know that's the trigger word,
Yeah.
like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing this and why does he care? And I was like, well, he cares because we have a lot of customer data, and one of our big like selling like points is that we handle our customer data, like we take that very, very seriously. Some of our competitors have had breaches, and we've actually been pointing out the fact that we haven't had one. It's like, okay, like there you are. Like your competitive advantage is the fact that you've got good security. Like lean into that. Like if you know that that's what marketing and the C-suite are selling, you know, your competitive advantage, then you need to say, hey, we might screw ourselves over and have like pie on our face if we don't take some serious steps and make this little investment here.
So Josh's book draws from special operations lessons and war room experiences. Josh, how do those high-stake communication principles actually translate to like a boardroom presentation, for example? And what's some of the mistakes that you see security leaders make when they're actually briefing those executives?
It's always the same, no matter what the situation is. That's the wild thing. People speak in the language that they know. Whether it's generals and colonels in a room, or it's a bunch of board members in the room, you have to figure out what their language is. I grew up in Southern California, and I lived on the border of Texas and Mexico. And if you go into Mexico, you got to expect that people are going to speak Spanish, and you'll do much better if you know some Spanish. I've been to Germany. I've been to France. You can get away with English for sure. But if you start speaking French in France, like people smile at you. People want to talk to you, especially like if they can tell you've got a bad American accent, but you're trying to speak French. They're excited about that. In the same way, if you show up in those board meetings, in those commanders calls, in that big staff meeting with the base commander, and you speak their language, they're going to be really happy with you. No matter what you have to say, even if you've got upsetting things like, hey, I need more money. If you start with, oh, we're trying to accomplish this goal. In this quarter, we're all trying to improve operations, move faster, spend less time doing boring stuff. Whatever their language is, figure that out. Do some OSINT. And cover a little bit of that in the book. I've covered it in some of my talks I've done. Actually doing one in Des Moines in a couple weeks. And it's along those lines. Figure out what language they speak. Start with that, and then get to what your need is. But even just like starting with their needs in mind gets you so much more.
So Josh's book is, what's the title of it? It's a long title. Speak Security. Oh, there it is. Speak Security, the Business Accent. It's on Amazon right now. #1 release. Congratulations, #1.
I was surprised at that.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, these other books, like, suck it. No, but it was great. So one thing that people may not know, Josh, that's super exciting and it's coming soon is Noob Village, right? So Noob Village, Josh officially in charge of New Village, Josh officially getting accepted as a community for DEF CON 33. Josh, very impressive. DEF CON can be a very intimidating place for newcomers, right? It's fast paced, it's highly technical, tons of experts, thousands of people, lots of little cliques running around. How did you structure Noob Village activities to make the cybersecurity like approachable and human for people who wanted to be there and might be a little intimidated?
Yeah. Viewers might not know, but Jerry, you know, we've had this idea for a couple years now. We tried it out, a couple years ago. Didn't get accepted. Took a lot of those same principles, though. What would someone want who is new? If this is your first DEF CON, you're like, I don't know where to start. If there was a place that you could show up and be like, I don't know what I need. I'm curious about this, and have someone willing to hold your hand and say, oh, okay, well, you're interested in this and that. We've got a no stupid questions table where people can just walk up and be like, hey, I heard that like you can hack cars, and be like, yeah, you can. Here's what Car Hacking Village is about. That whole team, Noe, she's I think a junior in college. She is putting together the cheat sheet for her team and her volunteers, and they'll do that. I've actually got Jesse Johnson as we're doing buddies. So if someone's like, oh, that sounds really cool, how do I find it? It's like, well, rather than just being like on this giant map of the convention center, you're going to go over here and over here and over here, and then like past these guys and over to this thing. Be like, okay, Jesse's got somebody, they'll take you there. They will walk you there and talk to you and mentor you on cybersecurity, or just shoot the shit as you're walking, and make sure that you get to what you're interested in.
Very cool. That's very cool, man. Wow. All right. So
then we've got.
Oh, keep going.
Yeah, if you're cool with it, we've got speakers. We've got the one, the only Dr. Gerald Auger doing a talk.
Yes, sir.
Friday morning.
I'll be there early Friday morning. I thank you for accommodating my schedule.
Of course. You got to take care of your speakers. That's what I learned from running a conference. Or two. But yeah, we've got Jason Haddix, NomSec. Just talked to John 2 weeks ago at Hackspace. So John Hammond will be there. Trying to get Marcus Hutchins. Tiberius is going to be there. Ben might bring Ryan Montgomery.
Wow. So a bunch of like really well-known cyber professionals. Very cool.
Tyler Ramsby, the great. Patrick Gorman.
No, certainly not Tyler Ramsby. That man doesn't have time. That man's a busy, busy man. I love myself some Tyler Ramsby.
But we've got an entry-level CTF that we're going to have some of the workshops, some of these folks who are showing up, they'll be walking people through how to do different challenges on them. I still need to rally up my speakers and figure out like what everyone's going to be speaking about. But Tyler and Hack Smarter will probably be walking. I think we talked about things, walking people through how would you start with a web app pen test. Like you're new, you haven't done one of these before. You're curious what even goes into it. Here, let me walk you through one.
How long is the speaking slots?
Like hour.
Oh, wow. How many slots are you going to have then?
All weekend.
Oh, all weekend. I see. Okay.
Yeah. Like cool. 6 and 3 or 4.
I can, if you want, I can do my talk I did the other day on submitting your first CFP. I mean, I think that's a really important, activity that people should do.
That'd be cool.
All right, there you go. Done. This is how we make choices. This is how we make decisions here. Move fast, break things.
100%. This is, my principle of like first pancake. I like to get it out there. First crepe.
Okay.
Yep. Get it out there. The first one might not be perfect, but let's make it happen, and then we'll adjust. We'll turn up the heat. We'll add more milk. Whatever.
Yeah, 100%, dude. At New Village, your mission statement talks about shaping a cybersecurity culture where belonging, access, and opportunity are the norm, and that's a quote in the mission statement. Josh, what specific changes have you seen in the broader DEF CON community and or the cybersecurity industry that you can trace back to the inclusive approach that New Villages champion?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've heard rumors of DEF CON being very uptight and rigid, and like, we're hackers. If you're not elite, we don't want you here at all. And the old try harder mentality, or like RTFM, like read the manual. And I feel like, and I hope the just tone of cybersecurity has changed, where we need people. We need people, and anyone can do this. There's no reason to make it harder and turn people away. Some of this stuff, it's weird at first, and it might be different than what everyone else has done. But we can teach it, we can train it, and we can get anyone to go from being a pastor to being a pen tester, from being a middle school teacher to being a stock analyst.
There you go. Yeah, there's a path for everybody.
Yeah, and there just hasn't been a dedicated space for that at DEF CON. Well, they've been open and willing to have new people. No one's had the time to sit down and try to make it happen. We've got a lot of friends who run villages, and from like Tom, the other podcast host, Tom Van Norman, and Bryson Bort running ICS Village. My buddy Steve Lujinski and Matt and Dan who run Aerospace Village. Know a bunch of the Adversary and Red Team Village folks. They want to have that stuff, but they also have the things that are specific to their village. And trying to have both is hard. So we're doubling down. We're having things that are just for noobs, new people. Others might find it interesting. Might want to hear a talk by Jerry or Jason Haddix or John Hammond, but yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I do feel like a lot of people in cybersecurity, and this is, maybe I live in an echo chamber or bubble or something like that, or I'm biased, but in my opinion, I feel like you start off and you're like, overwhelmed and anxious and you don't know what's going on. And then you find out enough and you start operating, you start executing or whatever. And then you're just chilling, doing your thing. And at some point you reach a certain level where you desire to mentor, you desire to give back, you desire to help. I don't know what the event is that causes it, but there's so many people who are senior that want to give back, not just because they've been asked, but like when you ask them, it's almost like a relief for them that they have a vehicle to be able to do that thing that they've been, whether they knew it or not, wanting to do. So
Right.
for sure, I could see people who are more senior wanting to come by, just even to understand what's going on and perhaps how they could be involved or, partner or, in the new village, I think has bigger, grander plans, right? So not just, DEF CON Village is great and that could be the apex event, but, an ongoing community of helping and participation and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Growing this out so that we can have more mentoring and career village stuff there as well. Resume reviews at the conference. Even like meet a CISO. It's something that we'd love to have, but just don't have the time to run with this year. But yeah,
I love it.
A lot of things.
So Josh, you've got a million things going on, dude. Like, what do you do to decompress?
Video games.
Well, it's funny. I feel like I'm not the right person to be pointing this out because I'm
write books.
Yeah, I'm terrible at relaxing, but I've seen you playing video games, but you're doing it in voice chat on Discord where you're also mentoring people who come in. So is that count as playing video games? What kind of video games do you like to play? And if you are doing the mentoring in voice chat, talk about that so people can take advantage of it.
Yeah, it's been a minute. But because got busy with other pieces. But yeah, it's been fun. Sometimes you're just sitting there like running around trying to find the black bear in Red Dead Redemption 2 so you can get the furs so you can get that achievement. And why not just chat with like FedEx when he hops on or Phil Stafford about like what they're up to, what they're working on.
Are you an achievement guy? Like, I feel like there's like different gamer types. There's like beat the game as fast as possible. There's unlock every achievement and find every, warble or whatever you got to find, 30 of them in the game. Like, what kind of games are there?
Sometimes it's a mix because I'm never quite sure if it's worth it to like go after all the achievements. You're like, okay, cool, I got that thing. What's it give me? Like, does it make life easier at all? Or you're like, I'm already at the end of the game. Like having this rifle that just like blows everyone away. Like I'm done with the game. Like, what am I going to do with this? that can be frustrating. But when you get like two people who understand what this means, but when you get like the Satchel of the West, all of a sudden you can carry like 99 of every item rather than like 5. That changes the whole game.
There you go. Yeah, I love it. I used to be a fighting game guy. I've since gotten out of it because I don't have the time to like practice, which is very important in the fighting game genre. So now I barely play. I love video games. I don't get to play them very often though. But are you open world adventure type game? That's kind of sounds like what you're saying.
Yeah, I like those. Assassin's Creed, Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption, Fallout, those types of lots to do, figure out your adventure. I prefer the like RPG-ish ones. They're kind of fun.
Have you played Baldur's Gate 3? I've heard a lot about it.
Literally everyone asks me that. I'm also cheap. This might sound weird. But I wait until the game's
I think a lot of people in chat are cheap. I think a lot of people in chat, including myself, aren't interested in just burning money.
I got like the Assassin's Creed bundle. I had like the first 4 of them from like, I don't know. I started playing Assassin's Creed in college, like 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
on a Commodore 64, was it? Yeah. Okay.
No, on my roommate's Xbox 360. Not even mine. That's how cheap I am. I beat it on my roommate's console. But there was a Black Friday deal of like all of them except for the latest for like $10. I was like, yes.
That's a solid
bunch of games for $10. I'll take that. That tends to be my thing. So I've got Baldur's Gate on my wish list. I get notifications every time it goes on sale. I go, not enough. I don't know. I've got depending on what my commission check looks like this quarter, I might go ham, but we'll see.
I love it. I love how chat's been kind of like, like active, but not super like, frothing at the mouth, like rabid. We mentioned video games and now people are like, like everybody's got an opinion. BG3, don't go back, play Assassin's Creed 1. I don't think I've ever fully beat any of these games. Skyrim might be the one that I went the furthest on.
Skyrim I've started several times and just like didn't get that interested. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how. I find it. I found it very, very riveting. I don't know. You know what? I'll tell you. I'm such a maniac with my time that I'll play a game and I'll be like, okay, like I've gotten enjoyment from this. I like this game, and then for sake of time, I will then go on YouTube and watch somebody like speed run it, or like I'll watch someone do things on it, and then I'll feel satiated, and I'm like, I'm done with this game. So like people say I'm horrible at delegating. I was recently told I'm terrible at delegating, but like I delegate video game playing to somebody else, right? So I can knock that out real quick and get that finished and move on to the next thing. So I don't know what that says about me, but
yeah, watch some PewDiePie.
Yeah, yeah. Is he still a thing? Like I don't know. I don't know either. I don't know. But
I think David Bumble mentioned him recently. Yeah.
I love it. Ooh. I love it.
I've been getting into I want to find someone who wants to play some Dungeons and Dragons. I found this YouTube channel and then Dimension 20.
Okay.
And they like live stream record Dungeons and Dragons, and it's interesting. It's like a bunch of improv comedians getting together and basically doing 2 hours of SNL / D&D.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Hey, I do host a with a lot of help and collaboration from Justin Gold and Casually Joseph and Haircut Fish. So I don't want to, and Jesse Johnson. I don't want anyone to think that I'm doing this solo, but I host a Magic the Gathering tournament at Wild West Hackin' Fest. You could easily set up a Dungeons and Dragons scene, I feel like, at Wild West Hackin' Fest if you're feeling spicy.
Working on it.
Oh, you are? Okay. See what I mean, dude? This guy's got ideas for days. We don't even need to give him ideas. That's
I have 15.
Huh?
I I have 15 characters right now. If you go to my GitHub repo, I've actually got one whole repo to a D&D game.
Oh, very
Yeah,
nice.
I'm starting out.
I like it. And you can use AI to help facilitate a D&D. Yeah, I like
Yep.
it.
And build
I got,
characters.
yeah, no, I love it. I do love it. So check it out. Josh's superpower, besides being a killer, cybersecurity sales engineer, an author, a village organizer and conference director, a podcast host, a speaker, when he's not doing all of those things, he really comes up with wonderful ideas. I don't know if you've ever been called an idea man or an idea person, but you do have a lot of great ideas. So, I'm
A
not
lot of
surprised.
ideas. I've got a few great ideas. I've got a lot of ideas and a few great ideas.
I like it. So Bermuda Boy, Discord in chat, or go to simplycyber.io/Discord, or go to discord.gg/Simply Cyber. We have lots of ways for you to get in here.
A lot of ways to find it.
Yeah, here, I'll just.
I would drop it in chat, but I'm
Well,
the
Nightbot's
guest,
going
not
to
the
do it.
mod.
Bermuda Boy, watch Nightbot. It's going to say it in chat right there. There's a link. Cook it, cook it, click it. I'm not Gen Z. I can't cook anything except dinner. All right, guys. I want to say it's been time. It's been fun. It's been a lot. It's been cool, man. Josh Mason was our guest today, talking about Noob Village, author, and talking about cybersecurity career in sales and how it's not pushy, manipulative. Check out the how much MPGs you can get on the sim and much more. What is your problem and how can I help you solve it? Josh, thank you so much for giving us your time and your insights. I'm going to drop a link to all these things at Noob Village, your Amazon book, and your LinkedIn, obviously. Connect with him. He's got tons and tons of connections on LinkedIn. He's in Discord all the time at Josh Mason, I think is your name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's easy. And he goes by
Try to
Fungus
make it.
occasionally. So if you hear that, that's him too. Josh, thanks so much, dude. It's been really, really a pleasure catching up with you. You and I haven't talked in a minute, so it's been nice to kind of reconnect with you publicly.
Thanks, dude. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for having me.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, everybody, be good. Have a great night, everyone. I'm Jerry. He's Josh. Until next time, stay secure.